I'm Rahul. Today we're making an Italian herb pesto. Now, typically pesto gets made with basil, but we're going to change it up a bit and we're going to add all kinds of farm fresh herbs. So I'm just zesting the lemon here, and I've just zested the whole lemon, and I've used the microplane, which comes in very handy. And I'm just going to get all the zest off. The reason I like this microplane for its fine grating is because it just helps me get the peel off, not the pith, which is the more bitter part. And also this microplane is great for cheeses. Parmesan cheese works great in this microplane. So I'm going to put that off on the side. So I've got a whole teaspoon of zest here from this one lemon, and I'm just going to give this lemon a slice because we're going to also use the lemon juice in our pesto. So what are the other herbs that we're going to put into our pesto? So I've got some rosemary, tarragon, oregano, and thyme. Very different kinds of herbs, but together with basil, they just make a phenomenal tasting mixed herb basil. I've also got chive flowers, which are delicious, and scallion. So that's all ready and cut up. Now I need to do two final things here. One is I just need to make sure that my basil is dry. We want everything as much as possible of whatever we're using to be dry, because basil will spoil easier in the fridge if all the water is not extracted. So I've washed basil 2 cups here, and I'm just going to put it in my salad spinner. I'm going to give that a quick spin because the salad spinner works at a very intense speed, and just that much should take care of extracting all the moisture that we need to have extracted. And the last thing that I need to do is some garlic. So I take whole garlic, I put it into my silicone sleeve, give it a roll, and the peel just comes off, and I have completely peeled garlic. So I done this a second ago, but just to show you how I prepare the garlic. So 3 cloves of garlic, the basil dried, all the herbs ready, and the Parmesan cheese is ready to go as well. So we're gonna go ahead and make the pesto. So now to make the pesto, it's really easy. In our Deluxe cooking blender here, we're gonna just start incorporating all the ingredients together. So we're gonna add the garlic, the chunks of Parmesan cheese that I've just cut up from the triangle that I had earlier. I'm going to go ahead and put in all the lemon zest, and I'm going to put in the lemon, squeeze in the lemon. So for that, I'm going to reach over and just grab my citrus press. And 1 lemon should be good in here. That should just give us the right amount of tartness that we need. So there goes in half a lemon. Just woo! A little bit of a squeeze on myself, which is great. I'll smell great for the balance of the evening. Lemon fresh. And the other half. Man, this lemon is juicy. All right, so that's easy. Then comes the pine nuts. Generally go into a pesto. I like using walnuts in my pesto. So what I do with the walnuts is I toast them, but I use the air fryer to toast them. And this air fryer has a reheat setting, which is perfect for toasting nuts. I just stuck a cup of nuts in the air fryer, turned it on to the reheat setting, and let it go for the amount of time that is prescribed. That's all it takes, and the nuts are ready to go. Okay, so just daintily drop those nuts, walnuts, into our blender here. And what I'm going to do for this part is I'm just going to run the blender for just a moment to get things broken up. I don't want big pieces of nuts or cheese in my final pesto, but I also know that once I add the herbs, it's going to blend these nuts and cheeses a bit more. And so I'm just gonna get it started, and then I'm gonna add the herbs, and we'll go from there. So that's plenty good. I'm gonna give it a start. To do this, I'm just gonna use my custom blend setting, and I'm gonna give it a run, and we're gonna run it for a moment, and we'll be right back. So that's enough of a start. We've got chunky pieces in here, but that's plenty good. Now to the next step. I'm gonna add some important ingredients, some pepper, as much as your taste requires. And I want to do about a teaspoon of salt. Not too much, because the Parmesan is plenty salty by itself. Okay, next, some olive oil, whatever kind you like, but extra virgin works the best. So I'm gonna do a half a cup of olive oil. I do admit that I like olive oil in my pesto. So I'm gonna put that off on the side. Now, all the herbs. So I'm just going to stick in the chives, the scallion, all the chive flowers, which will make this pesto have plenty of purple bits in it, which makes it interesting. Basil. And then all the other herbs. So I'm just adding the last little bits of herb in here, that little bit of tarragon that I had, and then the last little stem of thyme. The way I like to do thyme is I just run my fingers kind of down the stem of the thyme, and that takes care of all the leaves. They just kind of fall in. And these are extremely fresh herbs that I picked today at our farm. So everything here is a go. Now, I'm gonna stick on the lid, but this time I'm gonna unhook the very top, and I'm gonna use my tamper to blend all the leaves into the base. Okay, so here goes. So what the tamping does is it helps the leaves, and since pesto is solid to the most extent, you don't want it too liquidy. It just helps all the leaves kind of blend in, get in, without any of them being left. And you don't have to keep on opening and shutting the lid here. So I'm going to let this go for a second more, and then we'll see how it looks. Well, this looks great. It looks light green. It smells fragrant, like just phenomenal pesto does when you make it fresh. This spatula makes it so much easier because there are sharp blades down here, and in order to get it all out, it just makes it easier to use this. So anyways, I'm just gonna give it a quick taste and see what it looks like, and then we'll start making the pasta. Finger looking good. So this can go on bread slices for sandwiches, paninis, little baguette slices for a quick snack. Oh, so delicious. And all those different herbs, you can definitely sense them in there because they each give it, the pesto, more character than just basic basil pesto character. So I encourage you, the next time you make pesto, use a ton of basil, but put in some other herbs that might be surprising for you. If you want to keep it on the Italian side, oregano, rosemary definitely goes well. So this is really exciting. This has been cooking for about 4 minutes, and I put the lid on to help the water absorption, and the water's been absorbed, and I have al dente angel hair pasta. So this is perfectly cooked and ready for completion. And I kid you not, the old stories that you've heard about, oh, you gotta cook pasta in a lot of water. Yeah, sure. For some pastas, it's important to do that. For angel hair in a one-pot meal, it's really not that important to have tons of water and then to dump all the water and so on. So 1 box of angel hair, 4 cups of water in a 12-inch skillet just does the trick. I'm gonna add a dash of olive oil just to make sure that as we combine the last few ingredients, I'm gonna turn the heat off, that the pasta doesn't stick to each other. We don't want, sticky angel hair. We just want it to be perfectly servable. All right, so there's my dash of olive oil, and using these tongs makes it also quite easy because you can quickly just add things. All right, I've got 1.5 Roma tomatoes diced here. I'm gonna just add that in here, and this will just cook with the heat of the pan, because this pan retains a lot of heat. So diced Roma tomatoes in there. Give that a head start so that it softens the tomatoes a little bit. Okay, some pepper. Again, to your taste. If you like hot red chili pepper, crushed red pepper, that's fine too. Some salt to season the pasta, because I didn't season it when we made it. Give that a little toss all together. The nice part about this pan also is it has a removable handle. So if it's sticking out way too much, you can remove the handle, and then it's safer on the stove than a pan which doesn't have a removable handle. Okay, so that's that. Now, the next veggie, I roasted some mushrooms, and I roasted them in the air fryer. I took about a pint of mushrooms, just diced them up, and stuck them in the roast setting in the air fryer. It takes about 10 minutes, and they roast up perfectly, so I don't have to do them in the pan. I can just, again, saves time. I did the walnuts in here earlier for the pesto. There's the mushrooms, and put that off on the side. Okay, one more toast, and then the final magic ingredient, which is the pesto. So, just want to make sure that everything is incorporated well. Now, the pesto. About a cup and a half, to your taste. Okay. And leave some for later. There's plenty in there. Leave some for later to go with breads and other things. So, about a cup and maybe a little bit more of pesto. And just toss that in there. And supper's done. I think the whole process from start to finish took about half an hour, maybe a little bit plus. But this is great tasting pasta, I promise you that. And take a look at the final picture here and try some for yourself. Enjoy some pesto pasta at home. Just try it with different kinds of herbs other than basil, more than basil. See you soon.